Judge, a master breeder and exhibitor of poultry, and they are here to talk to us about prepping our poultry and birds for show. With the show season coming up, this is very important, and they are here to do that. So please help me. I'm trying to find him. Please help me welcome Steve Jones. There he is. All right, Steve, come on over here. Come on down.
Okay, I don't know why they asked me to come tell you this. Most of you know this. You have several good people here that could tell you, but here I am. So you're interested in going to a poultry show. Are you? What is it? Is it just a beauty contest? Well, no, it's not. So we're going to cover a few basics. The American Poultry Association has been around a long time. The APA has come along after them. They have their standards that they go by. This is not anything different than the dog world or the rabbit world. They have standards that they go by. And that's what those silly judges that most people think are blind are looking for. The first thing you have is type, and that's the breed confirmation. And that's the primary thing that these judges are looking for. All that is explained in the new American Poultry Association Standard of Perfection, which Bob has some fresh copies, and the ABA standards as well. It gives you all the things that you need to look for when you're looking at your chickens to take them to a poultry show. That's just one thing. That's the type. Then you get into color. That's a whole different issue. But I'm not going to talk about that too much. I'm going to talk about the last piece of the puzzle, which is conditioning and getting your birds ready for a show. Where do you begin? You begin at day one. When the chicks hatch is when you really begin starting to get them ready for a show. Because that's where you can really make a difference. From day one, they need the best care that you can give them. That means good food, good water, good conditions where they can grow. They start to grow and you see prospects. You see some that aren't going to make the cut. Okay? This is the time that you have to make some hard choices and start pulling out some birds. For the betterment of your whole flock, you have to make some hard choices. You can't keep them all. That's just a hard fact. You go along, you're continually watching them as they're growing. You're giving them the best care the whole time. But then about this time of the year, you start seeing these notices that the poultry shows are about to come up. It's a little bit warm. Some of your old birds don't have feathers. They're not going to have feathers. But some of your young birds, if you got them out early, are going to be ready. Okay? You go back to square one. You start looking at the type. You start evaluating. If you don't really know the answer, you call somebody who does and get them to help you. A lot of these people, even if it's not the same breed, they can help as far as what to look for in type. If you've got a pattern breed that's a different color, they can help there. And then the final part is conditioning and getting them ready for a show. You just put in a chicken and take him to a show? Not necessarily. Different breeds are handled a little bit differently. Would you wash a chicken? That sounds crazy. Yes, some chickens are washed. It's not fun. If you have something like a Cochin or an Orpington or a Polish, it's all, you have to wash them to get them to look their best. Now on the other hand, if you have something with hard feathers like these skinny little moderns or the Old English or the Cornish, you may not want to wash them every time. In fact, you can probably do more damage than you can because they have very hard feathers. They're easy to break. But if you have a rock or something that you think is going to look good, there's a method you can use for washing. It's pretty simple. You get 3 tubs of water. The first one has your detergent in it. The second one has clean water to get the detergent out. The third one is the final step. You might want to add a little glycerin to the water. Glycerin is something, it'll help the birds preen after they get through the water. No matter how good you are at blow drying, the birds are going to get themselves ready better than anybody. Do you do that the last night? No, you don't. For cochins and rocks and Orpingtons, you really need them to give them about 3 or 4 days to get themselves looking good. And at this point, anybody that has questions, start asking questions. Yes. What kind of detergent do you use? That's a very good question. It doesn't need to be anything elaborate. Ivory soap is the best. Some people have seen our monster white rocks and think there's just something mysterious why we get them so white. All they get is ivory. That's it. White birds, they need to be cleaned before you wash them. If they're stained before you wash them, there's not a whole lot of help. One thing you can do that gets back to their conditions. White birds, they need to be kept clean. Those white rocks, I guarantee you, are on at least 6 inches of shavings. They don't see the light of day, the ones that are going to be shown. Now the others, they can go out and wander. But if you're interested in taking them to show, you're going to have to take care of them. Blackbirds are a little more forgiving. But again, the only thing magical is a simple detergent. You don't want to use a harsh detergent which is going to destroy their feathers. Ivory soap is very good. Some people like to use the dog shampoos that have a little bit of bluing in them. And that's fine. Those are good, but they don't tear up their feathers. Bluing is one step that some people use. But a little bit is all it takes. Now, one of my first mentors, she had white silkies, and I didn't hold it against her. But she was a pro on bluing. She could get a white silky as white as you could get. But every once in a while, she would get just a few too many drops in her water. And you could step back and see a blue silky. So, your first time out, I wouldn't suggest just getting a whole bottle of bluing and taking off after. That's something you have to really practice at. And there's a lot of people that swear by bluing. I don't. I swear that they need to be white before you wash them. The blow drying step, that can be very interesting. For most times, all you need is a simple blow dryer. Now, my showing partner, he's an ag teacher. He has access to all kinds of good materials. He sent me a really nice cattle blow dryer, which was going to really speed things up. The first time I did a Buff Orpington and got through with it, I was going, oh my gosh, what have I done? It's huge. But 3 or 4 days, they start picking at their feathers and they start getting back their natural shape. They're clean because after you wash them, after you dry them, until the show, you want to provide them with as much clean shavings as you can to keep them nice. One thing that's very frustrating is when you get a white bird to a show and they do all kinds of things.